The Atlanta Braves took down the Cincinnati Reds in extras last night, but the big story of the game, the Cy Young version of Chris Sale is back. Let's talk about it. Yes, welcome on in to Braves Today for Wednesday, May 7th. Your source of news, notes, and updates on your Atlanta Braves. I'm your host, Lindsay Crosby. You can follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. You can follow the show on X, Braves_today. We have a Facebook page and Instagram as well. And you can find all of my written work, bravestoday.com. That's the Braves Today Substack, as this is both a podcast and a newsletter. A little bit later in the show, I want to talk about Hunter Greene, what to expect from the Reds hurler. He's legitimately been one of the best pitchers in the National League this year. Like, outside of Yamamoto, this might be the best pitcher you faced to this point in the season. I'll do that in the third segment. And I want to talk about what happened in the 9th and 10th innings. Rough day for the offense, and we'll get into that. But sometimes just random fluky things happen in baseball, and the 9th inning is a great microcosm of that. But before we do that, let's talk about Chris Sale. Because Chris Sale has the highest pitch count of the season last night, 6 2/3 innings on 112 pitches, 5 hits, no runs, 2 walks, and 10 strikeouts. It is his second consecutive 10 strikeout game, and the 89th time in his career that he has had a double-digit strikeout game. That is 8th most in MLB history. And of the guys ahead of him, this list is pretty impressive. Again, Sale's at 89. You've got Curt Schilling, Sandy Koufax, Pedro Martinez, Roger Clemens, Max Scherzer, who is still active, the only one who's still active out of that group, Randy Johnson, and Nolan Ryan. What a freaking list. I'm curious, by the way, if you want to leave a comment down below if you're on YouTube, is Chris Sale a Hall of Famer? He has a World Series championship. He has a Cy Young now. Is Chris Sale a Hall of Famer if he retired the end of this season? Yes or no? Let me know what you think. But this was the Chris Sale that we saw a lot last year. He started off obviously really bad. He had a 6.63 ERA in his first 4 starts of the year. His last 4, a 1.96 ERA. Again, second consecutive game with 10 plus strikeouts, because he did that against the Rockies in that game that we lost. He did this last year one time. He had a 3-game stretch, a 3-start stretch in early August, where he had 10 or more strikeouts in 3 consecutive starts. So it feels like he's back. And a lot of the players talking to the media after the game said that they absolutely felt like he was back. Brian Sicker said, quote, "It's like vintage Chris Sale now. The last 2 or 3 times out, it's been really good. Really could be 4 times out, but whatever, that's fine." Michael Harris, he's looked like the Cy Young winner he is. I guess the last 2 starts, we weren't able to produce runs while he was on the mound, which is true, but it was just good to come out with a win. He had 18 swings and misses in this game. Between this season and last season, that is the 7th highest total in a game. And the big thing for me, and Jake and I actually disagreed on the postcast over on Locked On Sports Atlanta last night, because I talked about how impressed I was with the slider. And Jake's like, I was going to talk about the fastball. And when I went back and looked at some of the numbers, I think Jake's probably more right than I am. The slider was, as always, really good. 57% usage. He got 9 whiffs. He got another 18 called strikes. He was able to consistently land it low in the zone. And then when guys were decided, if I get the slider, I'm going to swing at it, he could drop it below the zone for a strike, or they would swing at it in the zone and miss it. But the 4-seam fastball, 8 whiffs on it, another 6 called strikes. And I went and looked at some of the numbers here. He hadn't gotten more than 5 whiffs on the fastball in any of his starts this year up until last night. And last year, he only had 8 or more whiffs on the fastball in 2 starts. So it's starting to feel like Chris Sale may in fact be back. And of course, in vintage Chris Sale fashion, the things he said about this were frankly hilarious. In the clubhouse last night, I'm appreciative of all the help that I've gotten because it's not just me going out there and figuring it out. I just got to keep trying to write it out and try not to suck. Chris Sale doing it only the way that Chris Sale can. But this is now like in his last 2 starts. This is 42 swings and misses. He had 24 in Colorado, which, yes, Colorado was bad. That's still more than he had in any game last year. And he faced the White Sox last year. He faced some bad teams last year. And then here, 18, including more on the four-seam fastball than he had at any point this year, and more than almost all of his outings last year. He did use the sinker a little bit. He threw exactly 1 changeup. But this, again, it was mostly slider four-seamer as it is when Chris Sale's on his best. His velocity was up a little bit too on this. He averaged 95.8 miles an hour on the four-seam fastball yesterday. His season average was 94.3. Now, we know that's been brought down a little bit from some outings with lower velocity, that cold start against Philly and things like that. But throwing it 1.5 miles harder than the average is not just you had a bad outing in there that brought your velo down. That is, you legitimately are throwing harder. When you adjust for the velo thing, that's still a good 1 mile an hour harder than you've been throwing this year. He touched 97.7 with it at one point. And the big thing for me here was going back out for the 7th inning. He's at 99 pitches. I think he had allowed 4 hits and a walk to that point. He gave up a leadoff double off the very top of the wall. That is, if it's July, if it's 10, 15, 20 degrees warmer, that's a home run because balls fly farther in the heat. But he got a ground out from Jose Trevino, got Blake Dunn to strike out swinging to get it to 2 outs, but then he walked somebody on 4 pitches and they pulled him. Pierce Johnson came in and absolutely just shut the rest of it down. So again, Chris Sale doesn't get the win, but Chris Sale just looks, he looks back, and he hit a couple interesting milestones in this one too, that we need to give him credit for reaching as far as a longevity standpoint. It was the 300th start of his career. He's one of only 11 active pitchers with 300 starts. He also passed 2,000 career innings. He's the 5th active starter to have 2,000 or more career innings. And that list is Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, Clayton Kershaw, and Charlie Morton. 3 Hall of Famers and Charlie Morton. So, again, it feels like at this point, Chris Sale's a Hall of Famer, right? We'll see what happens. In just a minute, I want to talk about what happened. Really, I want to talk about what happened in the 7th inning and the 9th inning and extras. Some of the missteps on both sides. And we'll do that next, right here on Braves Today. But first, today's episode is brought to you by our friends at Chinook Seedery. These are the absolute best sunflower seeds on the market. I am eating these things every single day, just really enjoying all the different flavors. 8 different options to choose from. Original, lemon pepper, jalapeno ranch, Parmesan and pepper is what I had last night, cinnamon toast. It's a sweet one. It works out really well. Dill pickle, hatch chili, smokehouse barbecue. So ChinookSeedery.com, CHINOOK, promo code BRAVES. You have a couple options here. Buy a sampler pack. They always ship those for free, but it's 8 2-ounce bags, and you get to try every single flavor. They send you all of them. Again, they ship those for free, but the promo code BRAVES does get you 10% off. Once you know what you like, you can then either buy a variety pack, which is a case that has some of everything, or you can build your own of just the flavors you like. Again, promo code BRAVES, 10% off, free shipping on your case order of $40 or more. So, ChinookSecret.com, promo code BRAVES. It's, again, get you 10% off, gets you free shipping on orders over $40, and supports the Braves Today podcast. Welcome back to Braves Today. I want to talk about the offense was atrocious. But yes, you won the game. That doesn't mean the offense was good. You are, if I have this math right, the Braves are 3 for 39 with runners in scoring position in their last 6 games. And the only hit, you went 1 for 9 last night. The only hit you got was the walk-off hit in the 10th inning. So Atlanta just has not been hitting with runners in scoring position. But when you look at the way that Atlanta squandered some opportunities, it's a little frustrating to watch how some of this stuff works. But it ended up working out with Stuart Fairchild in the 9th. Okay. You have a couple times where you advance runners into scoring position. 2nd inning, 2 outs, Sean Murphy singles. Eli White hits a ground rule double. So runners on 2nd and 3rd, Michael Harris strikes out. 3 pitches. He takes a pitch down the middle. He takes a low pitch. He swings under a fastball elevated above the zone. Very frustrating. Next opportunity you have, bottom of the 4th. You get back-to-back 1-out singles. Matt Olson and Ozzie Albies. So runners on 1st and 2nd. Sean Murphy strikes out on a foul tip. Eli White strikes out swinging. And this was a frustrating one. He got a called strike on a curveball below the zone. Not a strike. And then on a 2-1 count, they did a really good job of tunneling a changeup off of a sweeper. So he saw a sweeper in on the inner third for a strike. He got a sweeper below the zone for a ball. And then they threw him a changeup that ran the other direction. And having just seen 2 sweepers, and at the decision point, this pitch looked like a sweeper, he swings thinking it's going to come back into the zone like the other one did, and it runs away. Ugly strikeout. Not great from Eli White, but just a good piece of pitching from Andrew Abbott. But the 8th inning here, the 7th inning, very frustrating. Ozzie Albies leadoff walk. Sean Murphy singles to put him on 3rd. And there, Eli White hits a chopper up the 3rd base line. And Ozzie Albies, with no outs, is running on contact. He's not waiting to see if it got through. He's running on contact. Santiago Espinal throws it home. Jose Trevino has it so quickly that Ozzie stops and gets caught on the rundown. And they tag him out rather quickly. I don't know if the coaching staff called the contact play or if Ozzie decided to run. Either way, with no outs, it feels like that was the wrong decision. I don't know whose fault it is. We don't know if it was Ozzie or Matt Tuiasosopo, the third base coach, but either way, wrong decision to make there. After that, Michael Harris lined out and he destroyed that. 110 miles an hour. He leads the team in 110 plus mile an hour outs this year. I believe that's his 5th of the year. He has more than some entire teams do. Nick Allen draws a walk, which loads the bases, and Alex Verdugo hits a pretty hard ball, 107 to first base. Takes a weird, short hop on Spencer Steer, but he scoops it, gets to first base, ends the inning. Frustrating how that goes down. I don't fault Michael Harris there. I don't fault Alex Verdugo there. I do think that Ozzie's running on contact was the problem. Because that Michael Harris fly ball to center field, that thing went 339 feet. That scores Ozzie if he's on third base. With White running, that's probably not a double play. And so, yeah, you probably get Sean Murphy out at second, but you have runners on 1st and 3rd and 1 out. Michael Harris hits that line out. That's the 2nd out. Ozzie scores there if he didn't run. You keep on going. Okay, you get to the 9th inning, and let's talk about this, because this is some of the randomness of baseball, right? Sean Murphy draws a leadoff walk. They immediately pinch run for him with Stuart Fairchild. That is the correct decision. Eli White strikes out. He tried to bunt. It was foul. He tried to bunt again on a pitch below the zone. It was foul. He took a ball, and then he swung under a cutter up in the zone. Michael Harris hits a double to right field to Jake Fraley. And Stuart Fairchild didn't get a good jump, right? Fairchild talked to Justin Toscano. Shout out to Justin Toscano, friend of the show, by the way. His post-game article, he's the only one who really talked about that Stuart Fairchild thing. He got Tuiasosopo and Fairchild on the record about what happened. Fairchild didn't get a good jump. He had to pause for a second to make sure he didn't get hit by the ball that Michael hit. But then after that, he took off. And Tuiasosopo said he saw Fairchild running full speed. And then he saw from the warning track, Jake Fraley cut off the ball and threw it to second base. And that was the crucial decision that made him send Fairchild home. Because the way you're supposed to play that, with a potential play at the plate, the right fielder should be throwing that to the first baseman, who is out in shallow right field, who gets it and makes the relay throw home. Now, a couple things here. Spencer Steer, who had just moved from left field back to first base, he started the year on the IL with a shoulder issue. So his arm strength may not fully be there. You may still be able to score if you were going, but odds are you're not going if that throw goes into first base. And then you'd have runners on second and third and still need another hit to score. So the throw goes into second. Tui sends Fairchild. And Matt McLean apparently was not expecting the runner to go. And so he turns, sees it, and it takes him a second to go ahead and unleash the throw. Even with that hesitation, Fairchild still could have been out. And if he doesn't hesitate, Fairchild's absolutely out. Even with the hesitation, Fairchild could have been out. And what Fairchild said, and nobody really has talked about this except for Justin's article here, Fairchild saw Trevino, and Trevino deked him. Trevino was not set up for a play at the plate. Fairchild didn't know the throw was coming home. He was just going to run in. He wasn't going to slide. And Drake Baldwin, who was on deck, yelled at him and signaled at him to get down and slide. And so because he got that signal from Drake Baldwin, he went ahead and slid and managed to come in just before the tag. So that's one of those weird things where your role players, Fairchild, Tuiasosopo, Baldwin, everything has to go right on Atlanta's part, and you need a little bit of help to get the tying run. That's the randomness of baseball, right? 9 times out of 10, in that situation, Fairchild is either at third or he's out at the plate. And so when we talk about luck in baseball, that is an example of how luck can work both ways. Because you had to get lucky a couple different places, right? You had to get lucky on the ball being hit as well as it was, and you making it all the way to the warning track. You have to be lucky on the throw going to second and not to first. You have to be lucky on McLean hesitating for a split second because he wasn't expecting the throw, or he wasn't expecting the runner to be going home. And Baldwin has to recognize that Fairchild doesn't know the throw's coming home and signal for him to get down. If any one of those things doesn't happen, Atlanta doesn't score there. And you're either, again, runner on third, or you are out at home and Atlanta probably loses this game. As you go on and you get to the 10th inning, they walk Austin Riley to get to Marcell Ozuna, which is, I get it. I understand. Ozuna was 4 for 29 entering extra innings. He had a leg cramp in the 8th inning at bat. So they were like, yeah, okay, we're going to walk Riley, double plays on now, and we're going to make Ozuna beat us. And he did. He got a ball to the left field corner. Verdugo scores from second, and we win. I understand the decision-making in the 10th inning by Cincinnati. Normally, I would not want to walk Riley to get to Ozuna. I would be scared of Ozuna. I understand why coming into this game, coming into that at-bat, they said we can probably beat him here. And it just didn't work out for them. But this is an example of, one, a team just continuing to battle, like not giving up the very end of the game, role players and minor contributors doing everything they can to will the Braves to victory, and it all coming out together in the end. In just a minute, let's get to tonight's game. Grant Holmes versus Hunter Greene. And I don't think everybody quite realizes just how good Hunter Greene's been this year. We'll do that next, right here on Braves Today. Final segment of Braves Today, Lindsay Crosby. I want to talk about Hunter Greene tonight and what to expect. Because outside of Yamamoto, Yoshinobu Yamamoto of the Dodgers, Hunter Greene may be one of the better National League pitchers this year as of right now. 4-2, 2.53 ERA in 7 starts, 42 2/3 innings, 55 strikeouts, and a whip of .82. He's allowing less than 1 base runner an inning. And a lot of this is deserved. His actual ERA of 2.53, his expected ERA of 2.58. There is a lot of red on that StatCast, but there is a couple ways with which you can also get to him. So let's break down what he does and what to be prepared for tonight. The thing for Hunter Greene, more so than any other starter you face this year or will face this year, is the velocity. His average fastball velocity is 99.2 miles an hour. As a starter, it's 99th percentile in all of baseball. And unlike everybody else on that list, he's a starter. It is the star of the show. 59% usage. Again, averages 99.2. For context, the average right-handed pitcher in baseball, starters and relievers combined, average 94.6. So he's throwing it almost 5 mile an hour harder, and he's a starter. The most common location of this fastball is down the middle of the plate. He throws it for strikes a lot. He's not throwing it down. He's not trying to elevate it like you would see a lot of four-seam fastballs. He throws it in the strike zone. And you just have to hit it. Now, that is obviously easier said than done. But thing one to know is that fastball, you will have opportunities to hit that fastball. Now, the velocity on it is very good. But because he's throwing it for a strike, and because he's throwing it so hard, when you can get it, you can get good contact on it. The average exit velocity allowed by him is close to 91, 25th percentile. 11% barrel rate allowed, it's like 24th percentile. And he's one of the most extreme fly ball pitchers in baseball. 29%, it's a 6th percentile ground ball rate. And that's a fastball heavy profile, that's what it does. A four-seam fastball heavy profile. Spencer Strider's usually on that list for low ground balls, high fly balls when he's fastball dominant too. So you're gonna have opportunities to hit the fastball. To go along with that, he throws a slider. It's about 32% of the time, comes in at 88 miles an hour. He likes to throw it in the bottom corner of the zone and then off the plate, down and away off of that. Okay? So it's a lot of, I am throwing this for a strike. Again, bottom corner of the zone. And then I'm dropping it outside and below where I threw it last time. Okay? So he's going to land some for strikes. You can't just set the slider to be an auto take. You can't do it. Because he can throw it for a strike. And it's up in the air whether or not he's going to try to land on that low corner for a strike or take it past that for a chase pitch. He also throws a split finger about 9% of the time. The most common location for that is that same in the zone location as the slider. So he's throwing pitches for strikes, and you have an opportunity to hit them. Now, that being said, nobody's really hitting these pitches that well. The slider is, from a performance perspective, actually the best one. 0.93 batting average allowed. The expected's like 131. A 278 slugging. Expected's 294. He has given up 3 home runs on it. When he hangs it, like if he hangs it, you can bang it, but you've got to get a mistake there. Outside of that, I think he has 5 total hits on the pitch all year, but 3 of them are homers, right? So it's either like weak contact or it's launched. The 4-seam fastball, surprisingly close to what it should be. 207 actual batting average allowed, 206 expected, 359 slugging, 400 expected slugging. The split finger, he doesn't throw it a lot. It's almost entirely to lefties. He's thrown 61 of them. 3 have been to right-handed hitters. So it's really a thing you only have to worry about if you're a lefty. If you're a righty and you get a splitter, that's just bad luck, right? If I'm a righty, I am focused fastball slider. If I am a lefty, it's fastball slider, split finger. Again, he will give you pitches to hit. It's hard to do because they're all coming in with great velocity. 99 mile an hour fastball, 88 mile an hour slider, 88 mile an hour split finger. He does have a curveball. He's thrown like literally 2 of them this year. He threw a couple sinkers last year. He's not thrown it at all this year. I don't expect him to break it out. But the thing that I notice is because of the improvements he's made to the 4-seamer this year, it's really hard for guys to get out and get it out in front of the plate and pull it in the air. So some of the approaches we've been seeing where guys are trying to, instead of swinging for the fences and trying to pull a ball in the air for a homer, just trying to put the ball in play with quality contact, it feels like that's going to be important today because the velocity and how quickly that fastball gets on you, he has one of the better air pull rates in baseball. He's only allowed 13% of pitches to be pulled in the air against him, which is well below MLB average. So just heads up on that. Again, you're going to get plenty of fly balls and line drive. The goal here should be line drives. The goal should not be fly balls. And he allows a below average percentage of line drives. But you can get barrels off of him. You can get homers off of him if you can either get a hanging slider or you can time up that fastball really well. Not everybody can do that, but he is hittable. It's just going to be tough because he is one of the best performing pitchers in baseball right now, right? So it's going to be tough. Grant Holmes, opposite him. Grant's been great in his last couple starts. Outside of that Arizona thing where he gave up like 3 home runs to Eugenio Suarez, part of a 4-homer day. But the Braves still won that game, so there you go. That game, same time as always, 7:15. Standard broadcast information as well. I'll be over on Locked On Sports Atlanta doing the postcast after that game, and then we'll be back here tomorrow morning. Do us a favor. If you're on audio, leave a 5-star review with some kind words. Apple, Spotify, YouTube Music, I think is what Google uses nowadays. Somebody in one of the chats gave me that, so thank you. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you know when we go live with tomorrow's episode. And then also, BravesToday.com for your paid subscriptions. Helps out a ton over there. Until next time, this has been Braves Today.